What a win that was.
Yeah, that was impressive, and that one was for the whole. They haven't beaten anybody yet. That was for that crew because that's not a bad look. They're banged up. I get that, but they're 7-4 division leader, and that's a statement win.
Yeah, that is a quality win for the Eagles. 35-10 over the Tennessee Titans. They're now 11-1 on the season. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan. He's Ruben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. A negativity corner coming at the end of this podcast, which tells you how well this game went for the Eagles.
Yeah, and you take a step back, and you're like, they're 11-1. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like they're 11-1. And I think what's interesting to me before we kind of start on our plan. I was really curious to see how they'd respond after the Washington game, because it could go either way. And they've won 3 in a row now. They haven't all been pretty, but they found a way each time, and they kind of got their mojo back, I thought, today. Because like the last few weeks, things haven't come easily for them.
Is today the most complete win of the season?
I think so. I mean, Pittsburgh, but that's not a
Vikings.
That's not a good team. The Vikings was, and the first Washington game, but it was also early, and teams hadn't really figured out who they are yet. So you can make a case certainly for the Vikings, but today was really impressive.
Yeah, it really was. And look, I picked the Titans. I was by myself. I picked the Titans. I thought it was a tough matchup. And early on, things were a little weird. I was like, maybe I'm right. Maybe this is going to be one of those games. But then they just stuck it to them the rest of the way. That was just a dominant performance against a team that doesn't give up points like this.
No,
they just don't.
They had allowed 20 or fewer points in 8 straight games. It was the second longest such streak in the NFL in the last 10 years. And the Eagles had 21 by halftime.
Yeah, they score more points by halftime than the Titans give up.
Yeah, and I didn't think they'd really even – they could have scored 50.
Mm-hmm.
They could have scored 50. You take away some of those penalties. You take away Sweat's jumping off sides on 3rd and 4, which led to a touchdown. And then
there was the 4th and 7.
The 4th,
scrambled.
The 4th and 7. And then if you play the starters the 4th quarter, you're scoring – if all that happens, you're scoring 50.
Yeah, I agree. No reason to in this one.
No reason to. Still 35-10 is the Titans don't play 35-10 games.
No.
When they win, it's 19-17. When they lose, it's like 18-16. And the Bills scored 41 on them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Eagles and Bills accounted for 40% of their points this year.
Yeah, the Chiefs only scored 20 on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a dominant performance from the Eagles. Let's start with AJ Brown.
Yeah.
It was fun listening to him all week try to say that it was just another game, because we knew that clearly wasn't the case. There are these games where it matters. And we talked about it, I think on the Thursday pod, about, we know it means something to them. Let's see how it works, because some guys, they let it get the best of them and they try to do too much and it hurts the team. And some guys funnel it the right way and they get the most out of themselves. And that's what they did with AJ Brown in this game.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way he handled it, because you knew it was an important game to him, meant more than the average game. But he didn't let it kind of affect him in a negative way. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's easy to do, because he's an emotional guy, wears his heart on his sleeve. He was really offended when they wouldn't pay him what he thought he was worth. And he stuck it to him. Boy, did he stick it to him.
He was so good. 8 catches on 10 targets, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just dominant.
I was going to say he could have had 159 if the first 40-yarder counted, but then he wouldn't have the second 40-yarder. But
that was what a weird series. I was sitting in the press box saying, it feels like something happens every week that I've never seen before.
You know what, that sequence, the back-to-back plays, it was almost like, you know what? You take this away from, we'll just do it again. Yeah. It's almost like, it was like, we can do whatever we want.
And that's the way the offense felt early in the game, where they're getting all these penalties, backing them up in the 3rd and longs, and it did not matter.
Yeah. I felt like the offense could do, and they scored more points against the Packers, but I thought the offense could do whatever they wanted when they wanted. Mm-hmm. And they really could. And it was really, I mean, we talk all the time about complementary football, and that's what we saw today. I mean, now we'll get to the defense, but I mean, I thought really you include special teams in there. Some of those Britton Covey punt returns gave
and
good
some of
position.
hits that we'll get to
Yeah.
on the team's units.
Yeah.
It was the most well-rounded performance we've seen, I think.
Yeah. And what does it say about Shane and this talent they have on offense that last week they have 350 rushing and this week 350 passing?
It's insane.
It's insane. To be able to do that, to be that, I don't know what the word is, malleable, that, I mean, you can attack a team however you need to. Mm-hmm. And there's so many great offenses that, like, all right, they're a great passing offense, they're a great running offense. This is just a great offense.
Yeah. It's dangerous. How do you stop it?
How do you stop it? You don't.
And that's the thing. Like, even when you stop it, you could have a great series and you get them in the 3rd and long. And even if you cover, Jalen Hurts could just scramble for a first down. They have that in their back pocket at all times too. So it makes it such a dangerous offense. Good luck trying to figure it out.
You know what else? They scored on every other drive. Do you see their drive chart? This is something that you would appreciate. Mm-hmm. Touchdown, punt, end of half, touchdown, punt, touchdown, punt.
I like that they were just working in some Aaron Siposs work today.
Got him a little work. And one thing about the offense that I really like, you know, when Goddard went out, we were all like, you know, what are they going to do to make up for that? And it seems like each week they've gotten a little more comfortable.
And they've been doing different things.
Like last week it was Quez. Today it was nice to see him thrown to the backs. And they got both tight ends involved. I mean, Stoll had a nice game.
He did. He had 3 catches.
41 yards. Calcaterra. I mean, the 2 tight ends had 60 yards.
Yeah. They ran. I mean, last week we saw some 10 personnel, 4 wides. This week we saw some pony sets, 2 running backs on the field together. So it feels like without Goddard, they're just peeling back more layers on this offense that we didn't know were there.
Right.
And maybe they won't need them when Dallas is back. But now it's like they can do even more things than we thought before the Dallas got their injury.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll have that in their back pocket. I know you don't like Gainwell as much as I do, but I think he's, for a guy that doesn't get many touches, he makes a difference. And
I don't dislike Gainwell.
I know, but I like him more than you do.
Probably.
Well, I like him more than anyone.
Yeah.
I just love how he makes the most of limited touches. It's really.
He had a big performance today. That one spin move was
sweet,
tremendous.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he had a first down catch on their first 2 touchdown
53
drives.
Total yards.
53 scrimmage yards. And he moves forward. He's such a perfect complementary back. And they started throwing to the receivers today. He had 3 for 38. 2 of them were first downs. All 3 were first downs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a 10, a 10. No, he had a 10, a 14, and a 14.
And he's their 2-minute guy, so he's going to get those chances. Yeah. But he capitalized on them.
Yeah. Once he catches it, he's really clever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he sees things well. I mean, he's had trouble catching the ball.
Yeah.
We saw it in training camp. We saw it the first few weeks of the season. But today he looked like the Gainwell of last year.
Yeah, they could use that because he's going to be in some big moments if he continues to be. I mean, he's out there on 2-minute drill. He's out there on a lot of third down. So he's in some really crucial moments.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose sight of Devontae Smith
in
this game. 5 for 102 and a touchdown, and all the attention goes to A.J. Brown, but Devontae was just as good. I mean, route running clinic from Devontae Smith. And that's the thing. He's not the marquee guy right now. It's A.J. Brown's the headliner, but Devontae's better this year.
Yeah.
He's a better player.
Yeah.
And the numbers might not show that when the season's done, but he's a better player in year 2. So I know that there was some thought that like maybe he wasn't developing because he is very good. He would be the top receiver on a lot of teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And he is on pace for 1,000 yards after today.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bumped him up. They both are. Obviously, AJ has more yards than him, so he would be. But I mean, what's he? He's got 61 catches in 12 games, 711 yards, 4 touchdowns. When they're both going off like this, how do you stop it?
Yeah.
And then you have Quez working in too.
And Quez had a decent game.
I thought Quez could have caught that one. Would you?
It wouldn't have mattered.
Oh yeah,
it was
a penalty.
Penalties,
yeah, you're right.
I talked to him after the game. He said he's all right.
Yeah. How's Jordan, by the way? Jordan Davis.
I didn't talk to him. Didn't see him.
It looked like he kind of hobbled off.
It looked like he hobbled off. I don't know.
Yeah, that left him with only 5 interior defensive linemen, which was really thin. But yeah, as far as Devontae, It looked like they were doubling him
Yeah,
early. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's I don't blame anyone for doing anything against this team.
Pick your poison.
It's tough to figure it out. He was so strong on his touchdown. That's a fun play because you look at him and his stature, and I always love how tough he is because he has no right to get in the end zone there, but he just falls forward.
Yeah,
is real tough and gets in the end zone.
That Did it seem like Jalen underthrew that intentionally
to get the DPI.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah,
and Jalen's been. I don't discount that because Jalen's been really good about placing the ball where only good things can happen.
Yeah,
we saw that on the touchdown to AJ, the late hands there. I mean, that's a perfect ball, but AJ didn't tip it at all. I mean, the DB is in his grill, has no idea the ball's right there.
Right.
And AJ, it wasn't even like he was like he had his hands real close to his body and just flashed him at the last second.
Yeah.
That's the nuance that these two receivers play with is so fascinating to me. Because like last week we saw Christian Watson, who's a really good young player, but he doesn't have the polish that these guys have, right? He's a big, strong, physical, fast receiver, and that you can work with that, right? Like
Sure.
that's going to win a lot in the NFL. But these two guys play the position in such a fun way to watch that, Devontae with his route running and AJ with the little things that he does so well, like the late hands, like realizing how to use his body on certain catches. They're both playing the position at such a high level. And Nick Sirianni has to love it as a receivers coach.
Yeah, and Jalen's fighting him. And Devontae's toughness, again, is really impressive. He takes some really big hits and just pops back up. I mean, AJ Brown, you expect that. He's a big, strong, dude, but Devontae is not. He's a skinny little
who's worked on it, by the way.
Yeah, he has.
He's stronger than he was.
He's a tough dude. Man, if they and Jalen, I mean, we could talk all night about Jalen, but his ability to know exactly where to go with the ball, it's uncanny. I mean, he's so quick in his progression. He's finding guys. He's throwing the deep ball well. And if there's nothing there, man, today he found the backs. He doesn't have Goddard over the middle, so he found the backs.
Hitting Jack Stoll on seam routes.
Just not making mistakes.
3 interceptions in 12 games.
20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And
another rushing touchdown today.
Yeah.
Up to 9 on the season.
He's got – so in his since the Arizona game, which is what, 8 games?
Mm-hmm.
He's got 16 touchdowns and 1 interception. And that was the one that AJ Brown bobbled.
Yeah. That's what's impressed me about his passing this year is that you would look at his numbers and you would think he's not taking shots. You would think he's playing it safe because you can have a good touchdown to interception ratio if you don't take any chances.
Right.
But he's taking chances, but they're always very calculated, and he's putting the ball where it's either going to be a catch or it's not going to be caught, and it's not going to be an interception. And there's a real flair to that. There's a real nuanced ability to be able to do that, and he's figured it out.
Yeah, he's gotten so comfortable with the back shoulder. He's thrown that really well.
And you have to trust your receivers.
Yeah.
You don't throw that if you don't trust your receivers to make that play or to make sure that it doesn't end up in a negative play.
No doubt. Yeah.
He's fun to watch. Him rushing for 157 yards and then throwing for 380 the next day is wild.
The next day?
Next week. Next game.
I was going to say. Yeah, it is. It is. And one thing I really appreciate about Shane is, yeah, and I think I might have said this last week, I just think a lot of offensive coordinators or play callers outsmart themselves. And like the Packers are ranked 28th in run defense and like 6th in pass defense. And they're like, all right, we ran it a few times. That's going to set up the pass. Let's throw it now. And Shane is like, just keep running it. They can't stop it. Why would we stop doing it? And it's simple. I think a lot of play callers want to be more sophisticated than that. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't give a crap. He just, whatever's working. And today was the opposite. And you kind of knew it would be.
Yeah.
The Titans have a terrible pass defense. They're pretty good against the run. And we saw that, and he just kept throwing it. He just kept chucking it.
They would mix in a run here or there. They would they manufactured some yards on like the Quez play across the formation.
Yeah, that was a nice play.
That goes down as a pass, but that's really a run.
Okay. By the way, Jalen's the first quarterback in Eagles history with a passer rating over 90 in 7 straight games. His consistency, is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a bad game this year, has he? Did he have a bad game this year? I mean, we're in week 13. Jacksonville, he didn't have a touchdown. He threw a pick. But he completed 16 out of 25 passes.
I mean,
and they won.
Yeah.
That's probably his worst game.
The Washington loss, he wasn't great.
He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible.
No, I agree.
Really
he's been very consistent.
Hasn't had a bad game. He's thrown 347 passes, something like that, and 3 interceptions. I just, if there's any, I still get these tweets from people. I don't know if you do about, well, he's this, he's that. He hasn't really shown. He's not elite. He's not, how can you doubt this guy? Week after week, he's putting up huge numbers. He's winning. He's not making mistakes. He's a stud.
He's either going to win the MVP or probably be the runner-up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still several weeks to go here, but he's playing at that level. It's you can't argue it at this point.
Yeah, I was looking like Tua's 8 for 18. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. But yeah, it's some of the best quarterback play the Eagles have ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it is.
And in a weird turn of events, the weakest group on the team today was the offensive line, all those penalties.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it just didn't matter. They were false start. Oh, it's 3rd and 14 now. That's fine. We'll just complete this pass.
Yeah, they put a stat up at one point. They put a stat up on TV. It was like Eagles are like 3 for 7 on 3rd down, and the average to go is like 7.5 yards.
I joked the one time they got a false start. I was like, they got them right where they want them. 3rd and 12.
Yeah. That was weird. It was kind of more fluky than anything. They were all legit calls. They were not bad calls. It was just kind of, especially in your own gym, you don't expect to see that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really get too hung up on it. 953 yards over the last 2 games, 75 points.
Second time this year they've had 450 plus yards in back-to-back games. That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of yards.
Yeah.
They outgained the Titans by 244 yards.
They threw all over them and still won time of possession today.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Threw 39 times and they still won time of possession against a team with Derrick Henry.
Amazing. I can't wait till we talk about the defense, but
we'll do that soon.
Offensively, on a day they weren't really able to run the ball, and you kind of expected that they wouldn't be able to run the ball. Didn't matter.
Didn't need to.
If you're a defensive coordinator, like, all right, what do we take away? Like, you take away whatever you take away, something else is going to get you. Yeah. I mean, this is a defense that had allowed 20 points in 8 straight games. They put 35 up on them and could have had 50.
Mm-hmm. It was dominant.
Do you think, is this the most impressive win of the year for you?
I think so. Well, for me personally, because it's the first time I picked against them all year, and
won because it's
35-10.
It's for me, it's like the Vikings, the Cowboys, or Cowboys didn't have Dak, so it's the Vikings or this game.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins on prime time.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, and the Vikings hadn't really found themselves. Man, the Jets had a 4th and goal on the 1 to win the game, and they didn't get it. Yeah, that would have. I mean, the Eagles are going to get the number 1 seed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that would have been interesting. But yeah, I don't know how you stop this offense, and they're going to get Goddard back in 2 weeks, and they. Yeah, and like you said, they've discovered some things in his absence that they're going to have in their, in their playbook. It's a little scary, and big plays. Big plays down the field. Yeah. Dave's giving me that look. It's the Nissan Thrill of the Drive event. I thought you just really agree with my point. It's the Nissan Thrill of the Drive event, so gift yourself what you really want this holiday season and shop your local Nissan store or visit nissanusa.com today. Just like the holidays, these offers will not last.
Opioid addiction is a national public health crisis. The Someone You Know podcast from the Independence Blue Cross Foundation offers inspiring stories that challenge stigma, offer hope, and humanize the disease of addiction. Download the new Season 3 of Someone You Know on all major podcast platforms. Let's talk about the defense, Rube.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, final stat line, 11 carries, 30 yards, long of 6.
And the long of 6, to me, that's the kind of operative number there. Right from the get-go, they just stuffed him. I thought Epps, TJ, Blankenship, Joseph on the first play smothered him like 1-2 yards, I think. If they don't have Derrick Henry getting big yards, they can't win. I mean, that's their path to winning, because Tannehill and that passing offense is just not good enough. And then Burks got hurt and they had even less, but I don't think it really would have mattered. If they can't run the ball, they can't win. And as soon as it became like a 3-possession game, it just fell right in the Eagles' hands. They were in known pass every snap. Yeah. Then the pass rushers got unleashed and they just smothered Tannehill. Yeah. It all just kind of went exactly like Gannon drew it up. If you shut down Derrick Henry, they can't beat you. And they sold out, they stacked the box, and he had nowhere to run.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even sell out all the way to stop it either. I'll have to rewatch, but I mean, it felt like they were just doing what they
playing
do.
Defense, yeah.
And they were getting him down. They were making some tough tackles. Even like Nakobe Dean coming in cold, tripping up Derrick Henry on his first defensive snap of the game. Everyone had a hand in it. They were stuffing Derrick Henry early. They were getting in the 3rd and longs, and then it was a party at the quarterback.
Yeah, and that was just so huge because, their game plan, you could tell right from the get-go was just to run him 30 times.
It's a good game plan. It's worked for them quite a bit.
But, this is 4 straight games he's been like under 3 yards a carry. I wonder if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, they wouldn't say, but, he didn't look – I don't know how much was the Eagles. He didn't look like the Derrick Henry of old. Sometimes running backs just lose it overnight, but he's a great player. But man, it was fun to watch this team play defense. I thought for me, the key to this game was that drive just before halftime when they got down to inside the 20. Mm-hmm. And I think Tannehill threw incomplete on first down. Then he got like 9 yards on second down. Then they had a penalty. So I think it was like 2nd and 14. Or I'm sorry, 2nd and 6, and then I think they shut down Henry on 3rd down, and they kicked the field goal. And they didn't score again, and it was a 7-point game, so they could have tied it there if they got in the end zone. And then the Eagles got the ball back and went down and scored in like 3 minutes, almost scored again, held them again. But this defense has a knack of getting better as the game goes along. They've only allowed 1 second-half touchdown in the last 6 games, and that was the Christian Watson play, which I don't want to say was fluky. They brought a new quarterback, and he made a big play, and, guy took a bad angle on it. They did it. It happened. But this defense has been really, really good. I believe the Titans only had – how many yards they have in the second half? 57 plus 9, 66 minus 7. So they have 59 net yards in the second half. When and Tannehill had no time. They were hitting them.
They were getting some good shots on them.
They got some shots on them. And
there were a few of those plays where, Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick, I thought they were going to slice him in half.
Yeah. There was a couple of times I didn't think he was coming back in the game.
I asked Hassan Reddick about some of those plays with Sweat, and he just went, bleeping sweaty.
Sweat was great. Yeah. He was great.
That was one of my matchups coming in because that left tackle stinks.
It was mine too. Yeah, they didn't have their left tackle and Dennis. What's his name? I forget.
Daly.
Yeah. But you kind of had a feeling Sweat was going to have a big day, and he did 2 sacks, 3 hurries, a tackle for loss, 4 tackles. He was really good. I thought BG was really good. Fletch was great. Fletch maybe had the best game he's had in 2 years.
He's starting to play well.
Yeah, the last 2 games
looking healthier,
and he's not playing as much. And I think it seems like having Sue and Joseph has kind of invigorated him. I don't know if it's that or it's just playing a little less.
I think he's playing a little less. I think he's getting over an injury.
And he's not the old guy anymore.
Yeah,
he's like one of the younger guys
yeah.
in that D line room. Man, all of a sudden Fletch has been really good. He had a sack and he had a great tackle on Henry early.
Mm-hmm.
If he starts playing well, my God.
And he is. I mean, this is 2 games in a row now.
Yeah.
For Fletcher. So I don't think it's crazy to expect that to continue. I thought TJ had a good game.
Yeah, he did. He was terrific.
And when Kaiser got knocked out, we mentioned him already. Nakobe Dean was good.
It was really good.
And they just don't have a way to get him on the field, but I feel pretty good if he needs to be out there.
Yeah, had a tackle for loss. He was actually second on the team in tackles.
With 5 tackles.
Yeah, 5 tackles. I thought he was really active. He was in the right place. And again, it's kind of like, that's been the story of this season for the backups. They've come in and they've been ready, whether it's Blankenship or, Kayvon or Josiah Scott.
I just realized Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat combined for 7 quarterback hits in this game. 4 for Reddick, 3 for Sweat.
Yeah, Reddick was great. He only had only had 1 sack, but yeah he was.
He forced the was it the Hargrave sack?
Yeah,
nearly had a strip sack.
Yeah, he got his hand on the ball. Hargrave was really good again. How many sacks is he up to? Has he got 9 now?
8.
8.
New career high, I think. Right?
No, it's a career high. New career high is redundant.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime I can help you with your usage, grammar, anything like that,
I'll be sure to get you back
for
that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, the D-line. This is what I expected from that. Was one of my keys to the game was I thought the D-line would really have a chance to really go off. 6 sacks, 9 quarterback hurries, 5 tackles for loss. It was quite a performance by the guys up front. I never felt like the Titans passing game had a chance.
Yeah. Those are quarterback hits, by the way.
What's that?
Quarterback hits.
Quarterback hits, you're right.
I had to repay the favor.
They had 106 net passing yards.
Yeah. And the one big play they had was just a great play by a receiver.
It was.
You tip your cap to him. That's a heck of a catch.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Left with a concussion.
Yeah.
Didn't notice Reed Blankenship one way or the other. That's probably a good sign.
Yeah.
Thought they'd try to pick on him. They didn't. I mean, they actually picked on Epps early with that the one tight end play. It was a 41-yarder.
Yeah. Yeah. Christian Ellis played.
Christian Ellis.
First punt return?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, he shot out of a cannon.
Yeah. He made a difference on special teams.
He did.
It's good to see. I mean, this guy was on the practice squad. He's a game day elevation. He'd only played, I think he played in the Dallas game last year at the end of the year. It was the only game he's ever played. He's never really played in a meaningful game.
He had 7 defensive snaps in that game. I think he had 3 tackles.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting player. Hey, they might need linebackers
I've heard,
next year.
For a while that they really like him, but there's just not room on the roster.
Well,
and
it might be next year.
Well, yeah, I don't know about this year. I don't know if they can get him to the roster, but they have 2 more elevations. He gave them something.
Yeah.
But let's talk about special teams.
Yeah.
Where was this? It's not like they made huge changes to the kick coverage.
Right.
They put him out there. And they were electric. I mean, you had how many big hits in this game from special teamers? You had the big Nakobe one, big Christian Ellis one, Sean Bradley wrecked somebody. They played like a unit that was under fire.
Yeah. Somebody made a speech. I don't know who it was, but somebody made, not Michael Clay, but like somebody higher up made a speech. I mean, Lurie might have spoken to him, but Covey 6 for 105. He might have had more punt return yards today than he had in his first 10 games combined.
He had 4 returns longer than his career long.
Yeah. He had 3 over 20. His career long was just like 11.
15.
It was a 15 coming in. He had a 21, a 25, and a 27.
I think it was. They kept changing that one. It was 20. It was 29. Then it was 28. Then it was. Yeah. He's losing yardage by the minute here.
But I thought, I thought he saw things really well.
And they blocked for him. And
they blocked for him.
And sometimes that's why you don't outkick your coverage.
Yeah.
They
certainly did that. And that Stonehouse has just a ridiculous leg.
Yeah, but sometimes that's not good.
I agree. Sometimes you're
letting him set up his blockers.
Yeah. But I thought he looked more decisive. He wasn't running into tacklers. Boston had one okay kick return. I think he had 28-yarder.
Yeah.
But I mean, punt coverage was pretty good. I think the guy Board had one long one, but wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, they needed it. And
until the very end, they started at 25, 28, 15. I think that was after the penalty. 43, 25, 26, 37, 32. Good field position.
You give this offense good field position, it's over. I mean, defense just doesn't have a chance. I'd like to look up. I'll do this, like the percentage of drives that they score when they get the ball like on their own 40.
Yeah, I like that. You can't do overall starts because the last two series kind of screw that up because they started the 4 and the 9. But you could do percentage of times they score when they're over. Yeah, I like
you can do any of that. Yeah. Stat head.
Yeah.
Rules.
They are that's why it was the most well-rounded win. You finally had special teams has been the weak link all year. And it was funny. It was a tough way to ask the question. I asked Nakobe Dean about, you guys have kind of been the unit to not carry your weight this year. And he's like, well, we had one bad game and we're all of a sudden the worst in the league. I was like, well, it was kick coverage had a bad game, but this is like a year-long thing. And I'm not going to bring it up to Nakobe Dean after
he plays well in his first game.
He plays well in his 25-point win. But special teams all year has been a problem. And to see them, that whole unit in every facet play really well was very encouraging.
Yeah, Michael Clay saved his job. It was. It was really encouraging. This is such a team win. I don't know if there's anything you could criticize.
And I do my position by position grades.
I do know that. Yeah,
I think this is going to be
straight A's.
Probably not straight A's, but pretty close. The only I might
running backs maybe.
Yeah, I think I got to leave some room. They did their job. They just weren't asked to do a ton.
Right.
Offensive line had all those penalties, so they're probably out of the A range. But this all across the board. I mean, I think everything's going to have an A except for the offensive line and maybe the running backs.
I mean, O-line, they still did score 35 points at 450.
They did.
Yards. But the penalties.
They put them in tough spots.
Yeah.
They overcame them. Yeah. And that's partially because they played well. Yeah. But, got to get that cleaned up.
I used to have a professor that called, he said, you don't want any grades underwater. Like, what's underwater mean? He said, below sea level.
Oh, I think I either really like that or really hate it, and I'm not sure.
It. Yeah, I think we really like it, but I mean, I'd probably give running backs a B, O-line a B plus, maybe A minus, B plus. How many of the 12 penalties are on O-line? I think it was 9.
Yeah, I mean, I think all but Isaac Seumalo on the O-line had a false start,
and he had penalties that offset.
Mm-hmm.
How many penalties were not on the O-line?
Jack Stoll had a false start.
Epps had the personal foul.
Sweat had the defensive offside.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think 12 and 9 were on the O-line.
We're in the negativity corner, and that's really all I got.
Yeah, that's really it.
I don't know what else you could even nitpick about in this one. You could sometimes we'll throw injuries in here, but talk to Quez after the game. He seemed fine. Talk to Kaiser White after the game. He seemed fine.
Only 3 for 11 on third down. How do you score 35 points when you have 3 third down conversions? Because they were converting second downs.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Whenever you see the backups in with 10 minutes left in a game, things have gone well.
I know. There was a lot of time left. I can't say enough about Jalen and the defense. I know we're kind of out of time, but I thought the defense was really, really good. And again, they seem to give up an early touchdown. They always seem to kind of settle down after that.
Yeah.
But 1 second half touchdown in the last 6 games is really impressive. And I think they've tackled better the last few weeks. I actually thought they started tackling better in the Washington game. I don't think that was the problem. like with all in the running game. They ran 50
Yeah.
times. They only averaged like 3 yards a carry, but tackling was really bad for a while.
Yeah.
You know, there was a stretch where
A lot of missed tackles.
That's not happening anymore.
You're right.
And that's really encouraging because that was a concern. But I just want people to understand just how special what Jalen is doing is. I mean, he threw for 380, completed 74% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. I mean,
and this is after he ran for 157 last week.
Yeah, it's I mean, he's having one of the best seasons ever by an Eagles quarterback. You know, Randall in 90, Carson in 17, Nick the rest of 17, Nick in 13. I mean, he's up there. It's really special what he's doing. I just hope everybody in the city's kind of behind him now, and you know, we don't have to have that conversation anymore. He's just a running back. He can't function in the passing game. I mean, he's disproved all that stuff, and not just tonight, but over the last 2 months, 3 months. So, special player.
Yeah. Last thing from me.
Yeah.
Amazing stunt dogs at halftime. Great performance.
Yeah, I saw would you post a video?
A couple
screenshots, videos. Yeah. I was in the studio, so I didn't
missed it.
I missed
They
it.
had a dog jumping rope.
Really?
Never seen that before.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Did you get a video of that?
Didn't get a video of that.
Come on, Dave.
Sorry. I was just
Maybe
watching with my jaw.
Maybe it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. That is. I think you should grade the halftime show. I think you should always grade halftime shows.
I'll start doing that.
And,
I know, because what if it's like, you know, little kid football? I'm not gonna grade them harshly.
Yeah, gave up 5 sacks.
Yeah.
I think I might start grading anthems.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, start doing that.
There was a stealth bomber flyover.
I heard it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Those things are amazing.
Unreal. That sound is like bone chilling.
We were
joking, like some little old lady's like going grocery shopping, doesn't know the football game's going on. She's, what the heck was that?
I know. Or like somebody's just driving down 95, like from out of town, like they're driving from like Maine to Florida. They don't know there's a game or a stadium or anything. And all of a sudden, what are they, B-14s or whatever?
I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I don't know.
They just are like 10 feet over her head. Stealth bombers, B2.
Okay.
B2.
I think that's the vitamins I take.
I knew that was coming. Let me ask you one quick thing, because we were debating this on post-game show. AJ Brown came out with a Yankees cap. Does that bother you?
No.
I couldn't care less.
I mean, I don't think he was supporting the Yankees. I think he was matching.
It was a color scheme thing.
Yeah.
I think, and Devontae had like a Colorado Rockies cap. I just couldn't care less. People looking for something to complain about.
I'd prefer he wore one of those big hats they had down in Washington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's start getting them around.
Yeah. I like those big, like those vaudeville like hats, the white like vaudeville like caps.
I wasn't around for vaudeville.
No, I wasn't either. I'm just seen movies and stuff.
No, I couldn't.
Kind of caught the tail end of it, I guess. But.
All right, were we good here?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. If everyone, we appreciate you guys, and if you would be so kind, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. Keep sending us those Spotify year-end wraps too. We love seeing that. We appreciate everyone's love and support. We'll be back with you later in the week. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. For Rube, I'm Dave. We'll talk to you soon.